Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode here of Built in the Bluegrass. We're continuing our spotlight segments for coolest thing made in Kentucky, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau and hosted by the Kentucky Association of Manufacturers. We have another cool spotlight for you all. Cool company named WaterStep, and we're here with Curtis Daniels, the VP Director of Training and Product Development Operations. Looks like WaterStep is pretty close to us. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. Curtis, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good to have you have me on your program here, Tom.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. All these have been pretty short notice, but everybody has been thus far gracious with their time, and I appreciate that immensely. So let's go over a little bit about WaterStep and uh, just really what you all do. What's your mission?
All right. Well, we're a 501c3 nonprofit here in Louisville. We are celebrating 30 years coming up here this year,
Oh, nice.
and this is pretty exciting. And I've been on board here since 2001. And I'm sorry, 2001. That's that is totally incorrect. But so it's been a pretty long ride here. Our mission basically is we bring safe water and good sanitation wash to places all over the world. We're over in 70 different countries around the world, bringing safe water and good educational hygiene practices to people that don't have access to safe water. That's our main uh, mission, and we've been doing that very successfully for about 30 years.
Nice. Yeah, I think we take that safe water for granted a little bit here, United States, since it's
Well,
pretty essential.
especially here in
It's
Louisville, because we've got the best water. We rank Louisville water ranks about somewhere between 1 and 5, generally around 1 and 3
mhm.
in the nation for safe water and good water and quality water. And we're pretty proud to be in a city that can boast that year after year.
Yeah, I I don't even really use a water filter in my house or anything, just because the water is just fine right out of the
Yeah,
tap.
you don't need to, not in Louisville, but that's just not the case around the world. That is for sure.
For
We
sure.
take great pride here in the United States to have safe water, and to be honest, I think it's why uh, we have such a healthy country.
Yeah. So the we did get you all through to the final 16 here, where you're in the bracket. You're facing, and this is a big one, but you're facing the Toyota Camry. Um,
Of course.
and that's a Kentucky staple, and they're out of Georgetown, as most everybody knows.
Yep.
Uh, but we're gonna put this spotlight out, and hopefully it'll help you combat the Toyota Camry here. But the product that was nominated was the WoW cart. Can you go into some details about that
Sure,
product?
absolutely. Um, with all the mission work that we've been doing around the world, we've developed some very unique, exciting pieces of equipment that are simple to use and easy to teach people how to use. That being the MX chlorine generator, bleach making technology, taking filtration from something simple to can get, of course, it can get um, more difficult depending on the things that are in the water that we're trying to remove. But we've always had to go into a country with just our piece of equipment and then find all of the things that we need to build that out into something that with tanks and with plumbing and sometimes with pumps and and pre-filters or post filters. We've had to do all those kinds of things in country, and so uh, imagine taking all of that knowledge and that equipment that we've developed and putting it into a box, or basically on a cart. The cart's like 2.5 feet wide, uh, about 4 feet long, about 4 feet tall, and it houses in there, already pre-plumbed, all of the equipment that we need out in the field, including a power source with a dual fuel, propane gasoline generator. It's got its own jet pump, which we can draw water from a source, for example, the Ohio River, and then we can also use that same pump to distribute that water with when we need to give it to the folks that need it. It has 100 micron to 55 micron um, pre-filters that are reusable. You don't have to replace the cartridges. You can simply take it apart, clean it out, put it back in service, in about 3 minutes. It's got carbon filtration as well as ion exchange filtration. It's got ultraviolet sanitizing. And then it's got the MX chlorine generator, which actually generates chlorine gas from common table salt, sodium chloride, and it introduces that into the water as a gas to sanitize it, just like we do here with our Louisville water. 2 gallons of bleach per hour can be made for sanitizing purposes for other things, like, for example, if we roll up on a disaster and we're supplying water to a community, and also within that community, a flooded community, for example, and where you've got sanitation problems as well, where things need to be cleaned up. Bleach becomes a very hard thing to do, but bleach is made very simply. We make it right on the cart. Um, it has two 1,250-gallon storage bladder tanks that we can draw water, for example, out of, I'll use the Ohio River again. We could draw water out of the Ohio River, put it through the process of the WoW cart, which is basically a mini water treatment plant. And then we can put it in these bladders, so it has its contact time with the chlorine. It can and then we can distribute it right out of the bladders using the pumps and everything right off the cart itself. It all comes in a 2.5 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot framework. Again, all plumbed together with all the hoses and everything. The only thing we need actually when we get on site is the water and fuel,
Mhm.
on a continuous basis, to power the generator. Now, if we don't have a power outage problem, we can run it right off the grid too. So um, it's a fantastic piece of equipment. We call it a mini water treatment plant. It's on wheels, weighs about 755 pounds. We can put it right in the back of a pickup truck and take it any place we need it. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds really cool. How long did you guys excuse me. How long did you guys have this kind of in development?
I started thinking about this probably about 10 or 12 years ago. The emergency management here in Louisville came to us and said, hey, we had this broken water main. It affected our downtown jail. And they were there's mandates that say that if you have people in that situation, um, they have to have water. But if it goes, more than 72 hours, you have to start thinking about moving them. That's not anything that the corrections wants to ever have to do, is move prisoners from one place to another. So anyway, they came to, you guys are doing work around the world. You do work in disasters. What can you do for us? And so I put together basically the WoW cart, but it was in Pelican cases. And so we that was really the first rendition. It was about 10 or 12 years ago. And I thought, this just is it's too cumbersome, having these Pelican cases, opening them up, pulling out the hoses, hooking up the red to the red, the blue to the blue, the A to the A, the B to the B, doing all those things. It just seemed too complicated for me to teach people how to use that. And so I came up with another plan of putting basically the same thing on a cart, but some things were hooked. The main things were hooked up. All you really had to do was hook it up to the water source, um, and then hook it up to the tanks, or the bladders or whatever it was we were using for storage. Um, and still, it works great. I mean, everything worked the same. But I thought let's do this in a way where everything is done. There's an in and an out, water in, water out, um, and you have to manipulate a few valves in between to make it work the way you need it to work. And that's how we developed this piece of equipment. And we've even refined it. When we first had it, there was a lot of valves, and we've refined it down. I think there's 7 valves total on the whole thing. Um, uh, so when you look at it, it's just not this ominous piece of equipment that says, I don't know if I want to touch that.
Right. Yeah, I think for 4x4x2, you're saying there. I see it looking at it on your website. It does look like a normal person should not touch it.
Yeah.
There's a lot
But
of things on there that I don't think I'd want to be responsible for.
Well, here's the thing, though, is if you're standing in front of it, and you're standing there with myself, or one of the other great people around here that works on these things, um, you want to touch it. It's one of those things when you get up to it and you put your hands on it, you go, so what is this? And all of a sudden people are actually flipping valve handles and stuff, and it's just the opposite of what you think. In almost every case, it's kind of kind of cracks me up, actually.
So this is more of a disaster relief or response time kind of deal for one of these carts. I'm assuming this isn't something that is like a consumer facing, like somebody can't just walk up and buy this from you. Uh, how does this get?
No, yes, 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 they can
They can.
actually. Yeah, and we have extensive training videos on it. You could literally fire this thing up from watching one of our videos,
Gotcha.
and it is really for sale to the consumer. These are in a lot of different. We have these with the United States Army. We've got them with the U.S. Coast Guard. We've got them with the Army Corps of Engineers has them. Um, we have 5 of them in Ukraine. We have several of them down in Central America that are actually running as a mini water treatment plant in small communities, to bring safe water to the folks that are there. So it's very versatile. It can be used in disaster relief, which is what we at WaterStep use it for, in the work that we do with disasters. Um, they're in uh, um, they're in every prison in Kentucky.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's 2 of them actually in every prison in Kentucky, and we're actually starting those trainings up here on April. Let me see what I got right here. Wednesday, April 2nd, and then Wednesday the 9th, Wednesday the 16th, and Wednesday the 23rd. Everybody that will be involved with those is going to have a live training by myself and our staff. Um, some of them will be here right at our facility for the ones that are close, and then there's one in Western Kentucky, one in Eastern Kentucky that will go out to them and train them right on their unit, right at the place there. So yeah, it's quite available to anybody that has a want, need, or desire for it. But we developed it for the work that we do at
Mm.
WaterStep, and it has just turned into something actually that we never predicted. It's really taken off to be quite a piece of equipment that people are wanting to get their hands on.
We can definitely classify it as something cool made in Kentucky.
Man, there is no doubt about that. I
Right.
uh, I don't usually put it exactly this way, but I love the fact. that I get to do these kinds of things. And I've said it just exactly like this: is that I get to make cool stuff. Uh, a lot of times I don't use the word stuff, but
Right. Right. All right, Curtis. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Uh, k- I will say I'll navigate people to your website here. It's waterstep.org if they want to look at all your all's technology, the wild card, what y'all are doing. I do see a donate button here. I know 501 all the nonprofit stuff. You guys need all the money you can get to do all these really nice things you do around the world. Uh, Again, these are the spotlights for the coolest thing made in Kentucky, and hopefully, when we get this out there, we'll link your website and do everything that we need to on that end. But if anybody wants to get a hold of you directly, can they do that, or do
oh,
you want them
absolutely.
just okay?
Absolutely, yeah. We the number here at the office is area code 502 568 6342. And if they want to get in touch with me personally directly, my extension is 509.
There you go, guys. 509. If you guys need a WoW cart or know somebody who does need a WoW cart or some relief efforts or anything like that, get a hold of WaterStep, and I'm sure they can help you out with any of those things. Again, this has been Built in the Bluegrass. We are doing the coolest thing made in Kentucky spotlights. These are presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau and hosted by Cam. My name is Tom Lawson. I am the host of Built in the Bluegrass. And Curtis, thank you again for coming on and sharing stuff about WaterStep and the wild card. Hopefully, this garners some more attention and gets you all some more votes.
Really, thank you very much, Tom. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for having me on today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Built in the Bluegrass. We hope you're leaving this episode with a better understanding of the cool stuff made in Kentucky. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show. This way you'll get notified as new episodes become available. Until next time.